So, with Secret Invasion coming out later this year, or maybe early next year, um, we obviously have a lot to speculate about in this show, as it is going to be a very big show, explaining a lot in the MCU. As we know, in Captain Marvel, we got the Skrulls introduced into the MCU, and basically, Nick Fury told them to stay on Earth, and basically they could shapeshift, obviously, and they could turn into different people. And now I do believe that there is, obviously, we're going to find out that in the show there's going to be many characters that we know throughout the MCU over the years that have been Skrulls all the time. And I have 5 here that I do think will be revealed as Skrulls. So if you do enjoy this video today, please like, subscribe, and yeah, let's get into it. So at number 1, I have Happy Hogan. Now, he was Tony Stark's right-hand man. He was Tony Stark's best friend, and obviously Nick Fury was close to him as well, and obviously assigned him to missions with Tony Stark, who Tony Stark would then become him and Cap would become obviously the Avengers, who would start the Avengers Initiative and stuff like that. And I do think Happy Hogan does have a big role in being a Skrull. I think it would make sense. As sad it would be, because I don't think I mean, he is a big character in the MCU, but I do think that he could be a Skrull just with everything going on. And I think it would make sense. Next on the list, I have Karen. Now, Karen is the guy from Eternals who was basically working with one of the Eternals for like, I think it was 50 or 70 years, something like that. And I think it was Kingo. Was it Kingo? I think, yeah, it was Kingo's right-hand man. He would be working with for 50 or 70 years. I can't remember how long it was. And that does seem like a very long time. And now the Skrulls can obviously last longer than humans, seeing that they are an alien race. So it would make sense if he was a Skrull. And obviously Skrulls are all about family, and they care about their family. That's why they had the thing with the Kree and stuff like that. But it was never the Skrulls. It was actually the Kree being the villains. The Skrulls just wanted their family to be safe and stuff like that. And Karen does in the Eternals, he does tell Kingo to go and with his family, which are the Eternals, and you should always basically side with your family and help them, which does sound like a very Skrull thing if you ask me. So I do think that Karen on this is probably the most likely to be a Skrull. I just think it all links and makes sense with him in Eternals and everything that he says, being pretty old as well and doesn't look that old. The next I got on the list is Hank Pym. Now, Hank Pym is very close to S.H.I.E.L.D. These next 3 characters are very close to S.H.I.E.L.D., but maybe one of them is probably likely to be a Skrull, but could also be a Skrull. But Hank Pym, very close to S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it would make sense of him being a Skrull. Obviously, he might die in Quantum Mania, but him being very close to S.H.I.E.L.D. and having a lot of associates with Nick Fury, I think him being a Skrull would make sense in some ways, but some ways wouldn't make sense, because obviously that would also make Hope a Skrull, kind of, and also, yeah, I just don't think... obviously, I think this one could be true, and then there's some downsides to the rumor or the thing that I think would happen. I just don't think it's probably the most unlikely on the list, with the next the person I have later on at the top of the list. But I do think Hank Pym, with how close he is to Nick Fury as well, and how close he is to S.H.I.E.L.D. and what he does for S.H.I.E.L.D., and he is pretty smart as well, or actually he's very smart. So I think it would kind of make sense, because he did have that advanced technology back in the 1960s or whatever it was, the 50s. So it would kind of make sense, or the 70s, whenever it was. But I do think it would kind of make sense him being a Skrull, but then there is some downsides, like Hope not being a Skrull, or maybe it would be revealed that she is a Skrull as well, maybe. But who knows. The next I've got on the list is Jimmy Woo, who is obviously from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and obviously WandaVision. But I do think Jimmy Woo could be a Skrull. Like I said before, these 3 are very close to S.H.I.E.L.D., and he does work for a big, obviously, like the FBI or whatever he works for. I think it's the FBI, because he does keep Scott Lang in his home, under home arrest because of the Sokovia Accords. So there's not much to say about Jimmy Woo to explain this, but I just think that he could in some ways be a Skrull, being linked to S.H.I.E.L.D. in some manner, being a part of the FBI, and being pretty close to most things, and obviously being smart with technology as well. I think Jimmy Woo does have some links to being a Skrull. Now, at the top of the list, I have Sharon Carter. Now, this is probably the one that I would say is most unlikely on the list. Now that she's just become the power broker, and which indicates that she probably will be a villain going forward in the MCU. But who knows? Sharon Carter, I think she's a very cool character, and her becoming a Skrull would kind of ruin it. But you know, some small. I wouldn't say she's a small character if she does become a villain going forward, and does have big links going forward with being the Power Broker, obviously being a villain and being behind everything. But obviously, that her being close to Shield, like most of these on this list, her being very close to Shield, and also snaking them out in some ways. Maybe maybe the Skrull is bad or wants to hurt Shield or whatever, not Shield, but you know what I mean. Maybe they want to do something bad, and that's what's going to happen, and we'll find that out in Secret Invasion or other shows that Sharon Carter will appear in. But who knows? I think it could be true, but like I said, it's probably the most unlikely on the list. But who do you guys think is going to be revealed as a Skrull? This is my top 5 that I think would be revealed as a Skrull. Tell me who you guys think is going to be a Skrull in Secret Invasion. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Hope you had a good day, and goodbye.